Cautious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you are. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and for the first time in a couple of weeks, we have actual football to talk about. In theory, we're looking ahead to Tuesday night's game against Watford. As things stand, we're recording Sunday night. As things stand, the game is going ahead, and I would have expected to have had an announcement by now if it wasn't going ahead. I think we'd probably have ended last week, wouldn't we, if the game wasn't going ahead. Bearing in mind how good the announcements have been so far in terms of this outbreak. So we should be playing tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and we're going to go through what to expect. Not that we really know what to expect. And look at our record against another team, which is, again, absolutely horrendous. But we'll come to that later on, because I know Mick loves that bit.
I can't wait.
Mick's here. Hello, Mick.
Hello.
And Ben is here, assuming he has finished his fruit salad he had before we started recording.
I am here, and I didn't have a fruit salad. But yeah, I am here. It wasn't a fruit salad. It was just fruit. But whatever.
What's the difference between fruit salad and fruit?
I don't have salad with it.
No. Do you think a fruit salad consists of lettuce then?
No, obviously I had fruit in it, but I just had fruit. I had fruit salad.
Mick, what's a fruit salad?
What was it? A mixture of fruit, Ben? Or was it just all the same fruit?
No, a mixture of fruit, obviously.
No,
I'm not a sociopath.
Fruit salad.
Whatever. I don't know.
I'm not sure why. Before I go into anything, I'm not sure why you're being so defensive about it being called a fruit salad, mate. There's nothing wrong with having a fruit salad.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having one. I just didn't think it was one.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever.
You learn something new every day, Ben.
True.
So we'll come on to the Rotherham stuff at the game preview in a minute, because I don't know what we're going to say about it. I think the first to start, Mick, is the big championship news of Sunday, really. The big news of Saturday was that everybody lost. Birmingham, Derby, other than Huddersfield, everybody else lost. Obviously Wycombe won, but they're out of it. Birmingham in particular lost 3-0 to Bristol City, and anybody that's seen their goals will know that they are embarrassingly bad defensive goals. The time appears to have come. Birmingham ran out of patience and appear to have sacked, or mutual consented, or whatever, Karanka. Aitor Karanka has left. Well, at time of recording, it's not official, but he is on his way out, by all accounts. Bit of a blow for us, that.
Yeah, it is. It is. We could have done with him hanging on for a couple more weeks, see if he can turn it around or whatever, which obviously we weren't going to do. But I'm hoping that the horse has already bolted, to be honest.
What do you mean?
Team. Well...
They're already going down.
Yeah, basically. They look like a team devoid of any confidence at all. And fingers crossed that continues and they don't get the new manager bounce. Having said that, there's plenty more down there who are just as bad. So, and I don't count us amongst that. So, the issue we've got is, as we discussed before, is the volume of games that we've got to play, which might keep us in that fight.
Yeah, Ben, Birmingham, well, we're 3 points off Birmingham with now 4 games in hand. Tuesday night's not one of the games in hand, so let's say Tuesday night we go level, however like that may be. We'll be level on points for 4 games in hand. They are supposedly, Birmingham, the statement I read, Ben, was that they are set to announce somebody to replace him before their game on Wednesday, which a rushed appointment might be absolutely what we need. Get somebody who's out of his depth, and away we go.
Yeah. I don't know who it could be. I don't know who's around at the minute, obviously. Wilder, but I hope we'll come on to that. Yeah. I don't know. It could be good for us. It's so hard to tell, honestly, because the players might have hated him or they might have loved him. So him going could either be brilliant for them or awful for them, So we'll see. We'll see in the first 10 minutes, won't we? On Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever the game is.
They play Wednesday, Birmingham.
Wednesday.
I love reading a lot of Birmingham supporters stuff, and not just over today, the past 2 weeks when Crank has mentioned us, the problems at Birmingham go much, much, much deeper than one man. Karanka has obviously had his good times at Borough, had some bad times elsewhere. If he's a good manager, I suspect whatever's happened at Birmingham is not entirely his fault, although clearly it's partially his fault.
Partially, but it is what it is. They've, like you said, they've got some bigger fish at the minute.
Yeah, and then one, if they go down, which at the moment is likely, they're going to struggle to come back out of that league potentially. Look at other teams that have gone down and struggled.
Sheffield.
Yeah, they took years to come out.
8 years, 9 years, whatever it was.
They were a while. Yeah. That's something to keep an eye on. If they go bring in, I don't know, Jurgen Klopp or something stupid like that, then I might be worried. Other than something like that, there isn't really anybody that could come in that I would be scared of. Paul Cook is somebody that if it was available, gone in, I think he would have done a good job. But I don't think he would have gone to a club like that, and he's gone elsewhere anyway. The only championship now names out there are the Cowleys. They take time. They're not going to come in and be firefighters. They take time to build a project. So I don't know who's going to come in. It's going to be interesting, but hopefully it falls in our favour. But I suppose at the end of the day, Mick, I suppose we just look at our own stuff, and that's most important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And from my point of view, from just talking about Birmingham, really, and I have no gripe with Birmingham supporters at all. I've got a lot of sympathy for them, but it appears from the outside that it's a bad ownership coming home to roost, much like it is down at Swillsborough and other places
Sheffield
as well. Sheffield, yeah. And long may that continue. We need these people out of our game,
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need to get rid of them. So the less successful these types of owners are, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
I agree. If anybody is wondering what that slurp was, it was Ben taking a drink of his green tea.
Sorry, could you hear that?
That was the loudest slurp I've ever heard.
I'm sorry.
Right, mate. The results I said yesterday, Birmingham lost. Derby are in free fall. I think they've lost 5 games in a row, or not winning 5 games, something like that. The initial bubble that Wayne had seems to have dropped off. He's still very confident. He doesn't think they're going to go down. But all it takes is for us to win a couple of games, Birmingham win a couple of games, and Derby are right back in the mix, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And I hope they are, to be honest. Because again, you've got the same sort of situation at Derby County with owners that clearly have no care for the club. They're just in it for the money, and don't really seem to have much of a clue as to, or appear, again, from the outside, don't appear to have any sort of interest in forwarding the club itself, other than their own financial gain. So hopefully they get dragged back into it.
Yeah, I agree. Huddersfield won, so I think if they're not completely safe, they'll be not far off safe now. They'll win at QPR. Was that you, Ben?
What?
That's just like a big noise. Apologies. Anyway.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was God blowing. Sorry.
Okay. Moving on to Rotherham United.
I had a hair on my thing and it was annoying me.
Apologies, everybody.
Move on.
Yeah, move on. Moving on to Rotherham United. We'll talk about us for a bit. All things, as we understand, everything's going to go ahead on Tuesday night. No team news, which we were recording before the pre-match press conference, Mick. It's been almost 2 weeks. What is it? 2 weeks on Thursday that the original test would have been done. So you would hope that the vast majority of those who were affected would be, assuming it didn't go too bad, they should be back in at least a little bit of training.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I know that you've been on the Watford podcast and they've retweeted it and put a little bit of a gif on there about the Rotherham United team selection, which is essentially with a bingo machine, and it's literally, I mean, it's so true. Who knows what's going to happen? None of us outside the club have any idea who's been suffering, who's been ill, who's still ill. It's going to be much like the Barnsley game. That sort of 6:45 announcement to the teams that hour before kickoff is just going to be, well, it's going to be a lottery, isn't it? Who knows?
Yeah.
Is it 7 o'clock kickoff? You're going to tell me now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There you go then. So it's a 6 o'clock then, whatever. It is going to be just a guessing game for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how many players we're capable of putting on bench, which who knows.
Yeah, I mean, this feels a bit different, Ben. I don't know about you, Ben, but this feels a bit different to the one at Christmas, where if the EFL were very proactive in cancelling the games, and in theory the training ground was opened on Thursday, assuming there was no more cases. Does that fill you with a bit of confidence that we've had potentially a few days to get back into a bit of training, or is it just the same as Mick, where you just worry for the lineup?
It's so hard to tell again without being in the club. I hope that it's obviously I don't want anyone to be ill, but I hope it's like Price, whatever.
Price isn't even a club, mate. Price doesn't start season.
Sorry,
Keep up.
Sorry if you're watching this, Lewis. No, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know. Someone who's not Crooks, not Smith, not
one of the million
Woody.
keepers we've got.
Yeah, I hope it's. I don't hope it, but I'd prefer it to be Vickers or whatever. But
poor Vickers.
You know, obviously, I don't think Crooks had it at Christmas. I think the ones who had it at Christmas, he can rule out. He can assume, but I think the one that had it at Christmas, you can sort of rule out that have had it now. So that and at Christmas, it were main ones, wasn't it? So
yeah. You got a bit. I also like reading between the lines. The club put up an article up last week, Thursday, Friday last week, about Michael Smith talking about how his game's improved.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. If Michael Smith had it and was almost certainly going to be out, the chance of them putting that out is pretty slim for me. I think that's me reading between the lines. But do you think that's a positive?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we sort of. I guess the speculation amongst us supporters is that Smithy had it in the first bout. Potentially, and certainly, and Crooksy as well. So, and Crooksy's performances when he came back were a little bit laboured to start with as well, which tends to suggest that was the case. As Ben says, we can only hope that it's the fringe players rather than anybody else. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Thanks, Ben.
Sorry, I don't know how I keep doing that.
You're having an absolute nightmare, mate.
It's an incredibly professional.
That one's my fault. Sorry.
They're all your fault.
I take responsibility for that one. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, whatever. We'll have to wait and see. We're only speculating, aren't we? We can only speculate, as can everybody else, as to who's going to be fit and who's not. To be fair, we're playing a Premier League side, or a side. Let me rephrase that. We're playing a team of Premier League players, so it's going to be tough either way. And we've used this phrase many times this season, haven't we? But it is a bit of a free hit for us. So
I prefer to play in Watford than Coventry. Because even if we had a full 25-man squad, the chance of picking up something against Watford would be slim anyway. Brentford, Watford, but then if you're playing Coventry, you want to be beating Coventry or picking some club against Coventry. So I think the fact we're playing them after the Inter, we talked about in our last podcast, didn't we, about there being positives and negatives. That's one of the positives of this. We've got these two games, Tuesday, Saturday, Bristol City on Saturday, and then we have another 2-week break before we come into one of the most monstrous run-ins in Football League history, probably. It's been, I think I've noticed in the past non-league, I've had games where they've been playing every other day and things like that. But it's a completely different level of football we're talking about. I certainly know you've watched football longer than me, mate. I've never seen this type of fixture pile up in my memory. Have you got any memories of anything? Not Rotherham United related, just in general.
No, not really. Even going back to the First World War. No, I haven't, to be honest, no. And I don't think it would ever, in the past, have been allowed to get to this stage. The Football League, or the FA, as it probably was in those days, wouldn't have allowed it. They would have done something, they would have put something in place, whether it be to extend the season by one match day for the clubs involved. They would have done something. The EFL's hands are tied financially. They've got to, bow down to the gods of money that whoever supplies the money to them, you know.
Is there a rocket in someone's thingy? I can't. It sounded like there was a rocket launching then in someone's microphone.
Yeah, it could have been mine.
And it weren't mine this time.
I didn't hear anything, mate.
No, me neither. So there you go.
There you go.
Were you just bored about what I was saying then, Ben?
No. I couldn't. No, that.
You just want to stop me.
It's there again.
Nonsense.
Sorry, go on. It's there again, but go on.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Moving on to the Watford. We'll go through our history
Can I
first,
just
and then.
say something about what Mick said about it's a good running and stuff like this?
Is it a good one?
I mean, he said like a bad running or whatever. You play, say, non-league player with the game, right? Do you know the NBA basketball? Right, basketball's a hard game. Like it's a tiring, physical exerting sport, right? They play every other day, and 82 games in a season, right? And it's not a long season; it's a 3-month season. It is a very physical exerting sport. Football is a hard sport. Don't get me wrong. Basketball is up there with football.
Yeah, but they have much more interchanges and substitutions in basketball, don't they? They have a Don't they have an offensive and a defensive team?
No, not in basketball.
Okay.
There's only 15 players and it's 5-a-side, so it's like it's like but it's
is that unlimited interchanges as well, or whatever they call it?
Yeah, but if they didn't, the bodies it'd be impossible to say 82 games in a season is levels it out with football and what we're doing at the minute. So I don't think people can complain about it too much, because if you look at what NBA athletes are and stuff like this, athletes, right, and then compare it to Richard Wood, like, no wonder you're tired, mate. Look at you. Do you know what I mean? I know you're 35.
Woody. That's an unnecessary dig at Woody, that.
I'm not saying dig at Woody, but not Woody. Angus McDonald, right?
Oh, is that it again?
Oh,
No.
people were tired. People who complain about being tired. Barlasser, right? Barlasser. Look at him compared to... All right, I'm not going to say.
What I will say, Ben, is that whichever sport you're in, whether it's football, cricket, NBA, NFL, whatever it is, your fitness is specifically designed to play X amount of games. So if in football you had to play, and you knew 6 months in advance that you were going to play 4 games a week, every week, the team, as you would know, would put a certain fitness program in place so you are at peak condition for these times. This has sort of been jumped on everybody at the very last minute. Nobody knew.
5 weeks. A week ago, they probably got 5 weeks for this running. That's enough time to get some sort of.
It's not enough time.
You could try.
But
we'll see who's done it.
We had a 6-month pre-season. It don't matter. They're so highly tuned to the levels they need to be at. It's not enough time to change it. It's just not.
I think it's doable. Sorry, I don't know whether that's what you were going to say, Ben, but I think it's doable.
It is. I think it's doable. 5 weeks is more than enough.
I think as a one-off playing 4 games a week, I think it's not a massive problem. I think if that was if we get, like we mentioned last week, if we get 1 more game called off or 2 more games called off, that's when it becomes a massive issue. 8 games in 14 days is a hell of an effort. We'd have to start playing genuinely weakened teams in 1 or 2 of those games, so the players are fit enough and in a good enough zone to be able to do it. They have red zones and green zones and stuff, don't they? In terms of their fitness levels, I seem to recall. I don't know how true this is, but I seem to remember John Taylor, complaining when he was at the club about not playing because he was in the red zone, so he got dropped. And that's one of the reasons he was a little bit unhappy, because he wasn't allowed to play because he was in the red zone, which meant he would have been close to injury.
How can you measure someone else's fitness? Like, only that person can feel how tired and fatigued they are. Not tired, fatigued they are.
There's so many little things. I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but there's so many little things. It's about how their current speed is compared to how it was, their muscle strength, biometrics, things. They generally do have these sort of labels they put people into how close they are to potentially, like hamstring. You know how close somebody could be to pulling the hamstring because they've played X amount of minutes or done X amount of sprints in whatever time. This is how high tech these. We're only little old Rotherham. We're not much of a budget. But I know that this is the type of thing, because Warney's talked about it a lot, about these type of things, and as it should be. You know what I mean? But
I think it's just mental toughness, in my opinion. But that's just me, innit?
But that does come into it, Ben. That definitely does come into it.
Well, if Michael Jordan can play an NBA game with food poisoning where he can barely walk, then I think I think someone could play a football game after they played one a week ago, 2 days ago. Do you know what I mean?
I think they could.
Yeah, but they're not going to be optimum.
They're not going to be optimum.
But that's the point,
isn't it?
I mean?
If we're going to be optimum, then we'd be top at league if they're optimum every game. Like, you can't do that. It's impossible.
This is the problem with Rotherham United, with the club we are. We have to be at our very best to win games because of the skill level we're at compared to even Middlesbrough. We have to be our absolute best to be picking those wins up. And that's why it's more of, if Norwich were doing it, I think it would be much less of an issue for Norwich because they're much more skillful and everything else. So their skill would drag them through their tiredness. And this is why, I mean, this is completely off topic, but when it comes to a penalty shootout, when you've played 120 minutes, that's why the vast majority of the time, the most skillful team will pull through because they're both just as tired as each other. But that skill, if you've got that skill level to fall back on, you then will have a much better chance. And I think that's why it may affect us more than, let's say, Norwich.
Well, I don't want to be like, oh, whatever, but get working on your skill then. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but what's stopping? Like,
I think they are. Clearly, that's what they're working on, and things, and as well as fitness and everything else.
When I say working, though, I don't mean going to training every day, coming back and sitting up, sitting with wife.
They don't
That's
do that.
Not what I mean.
No,
but I don't mean it. This is what I mean. Like, I don't know.
Skill levels at this stage of footballers' careers, the chance of improving their skill levels, except maybe Ben Wiles or the youngsters, is basically zero. They know what they know now in terms of football. It's very difficult. Me and Mick did some coaching courses. Me and Mick have done some coaching courses in past, and it's about your key learning age as a footballer is basically before 10, 11 years old. That's where you learn so much of your football. Beyond that, as you get older and older, it's much more difficult to learn a new skill. After that, it becomes mental. You know, your mental position, blah, blah, blah. Up until a certain age, it's very difficult to learn a new skill very, very well. Anyway, we've gone massively off topic here.
Yeah, I know. This is the last thing I would say on it is the people at the top levels, right, who keep learning, are the ones that some people call obsessive. Yeah. Because they just want that 1%. And if you're not obsessive, you're not going to get better. Because like you said, there is mental capacity. And that's why you see people at the top that people say, oh my God, why is he so obsessive? Like, do you know what I mean? You have to be to get that 1% when no one else can think you can improve. Excuse me.
And to be fair, looking at...
But you've also got to have a lot of this lot have got... Of course,
So I was just saying, to be fair, looking at Michael Smith this season, the way he's improved his game, his all-round game, he's clearly doing just that. He's looking for that extra 1% here, 1% there, and that's certainly showing this season. And couple that with his partnership with Crooksey, that's kind of a newfound thing. It's done him the world of good. So the players are still there; they're still working hard, and we know that they are. The issue, from our point of view, is not necessarily the capabilities of the sort of skill levels. It's about the way that we play. It's the style of football that we play. That high press, high energy style of football is very difficult to play for 90 minutes 4 times a week, just simply because of the amount of energy that's used, both mental and physical. Because playing that style is not just a physical issue, is it? It's a very mental, very psychological, heavy technique, if you like, a way of playing style of football. Because everybody's going to be thinking exactly the same at the same time for 90 minutes. Otherwise, you get picked off.
Yeah, absolutely. And do bear in mind they have family. Most squad has families and stuff. They can't be training every second of the day. But I have no doubt that they give 100% on and off the pitch. They certainly do on the pitch. The vast majority of them. On Watford, on our record against Watford, it's pretty bad. We've lost the last 4 games against Watford. having not won in our last 7. We haven't even scored a goal against Watford since 2004, when Martin Butler scored in a 1-1 draw. The last win overall was at Vicarage Road, when Chris Swales and Martin McIntosh scored for a 2-1 win in 2000. I put the year 2003. They're on their best run of the season, Ben. Watford have won seven games out of the last 8 and lost the other one. This is, I said, their best run of the season. They seem to have clicked a little bit. That's why I think, I know we mentioned earlier, you agree it's a free hit, not because of us, not just because of us, but because of when we're playing a very good opponent as well.
I don't like that term free hit. I think if you're a player and you think of it as a free hit, then I don't know how the hell you've got to be a professional athlete. But I don't like that term, because free hit is like you just go out there and play football. Like, no,
go out and try your best.
Yeah. Well, why aren't you doing that every game? Why is this any different? I want to win. I don't care if you're playing Barcelona or Stockport. Like, I want to win. But
okay.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be easy. But what game is easy? Like, it's not an easy league. If every game were easy, we'd be top at league. But they've got some good players. Look at Deeney. I really admire Deeney's game.
I think he's injured. Thankfully.
Thank God for that. They've still got some good players. They've still got that dude. No, he went to Everton, didn't he? I don't know. They've got some good players. They can't. Sarr.
They've got Sarr.
He's good.
Still got Sarr. Yeah.
He's very good. They've got some good players, man. It's just going to be interesting.
Is Sarr the one you'll know, Ben? Was Sarr the one that will link with Man U?
Yeah.
He might have been, because he scored like 2 against Liverpool last year when Watford beat him 3-0 or something. Yeah, he's very good. It's going to be hard, but I've got faith in players that we're not going to get smashed. Even at their place, we were coming back into it.
We were terrible. We were terrible.
We were coming back into it at end, So,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's not going to be easy, but what is?
Listen, any club in this division, any team in this division is there for taking if you want it. Any of them. Watford, Norwich, as we've proved. Certainly we proved it at Norwich and at home to Norwich. We proved it at home to Bournemouth and away to Bournemouth. Shouldn't have lost that game. You know what I mean? We've proved it away at Swansea. Maybe at home to Swansea we're a bit less. So first half against Brentford at home.
Yeah.
They had nothing. They offered nothing because of the way that we played. So yeah, we're capable of doing it. There's no question about that. None at all. So we think, fingers crossed, that we come out of the blocks after hopefully the players that have not suffered from COVID have had a good rest. The ones that are hopefully well and truly over it. I can't see any of them playing, to be honest with you, the ones that have had it. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we, on that?
It depends how quickly they recover, doesn't it?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
And if they're showing symptoms, some of them obviously have.
Yeah.
But so if anybody not been badly with it, then that obviously would play into our hands. One stat I have for the game is that if Michael Smith scores, next goal Michael Smith scores will be his 100th goal of his career, and would then be his best championship scoring season ever. But bear in mind, it's only his second, I think.
Yeah.
Still, if he can get into double figures, then this season, then that'd be really good for him, really good achievement, and for us. I think it's more goals in to come, hopefully.
Yeah,
if they're in, then we might be in trouble. Last game, Ben, is almost 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks on Wednesday coming will be our last game. So it was a fantastic win. Obviously beating Piggies 2-1 from Freddie scoring. What can we take out of that as a player? Because again, I like your views on this. The game's 2 weeks ago, so are you still buzzing, or is that sort of worn off a bit, and you're starting a fresh sort of thing?
Well, it's so hard because I would say what I think, but I am not a professional footballer, not a professional athlete. Really, yeah. If that was in their heads any more longer than 10 minutes after, then I would be surprised. I don't know what did you do with Champions League? Like, what do you want? A medal? In reality,
mental,
I know it's good. It's good to win, but you look at the reality of it. You won a football game.
Yeah.
That is the reality of it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
at the point, if it keeps up at end of season, then yeah, by all means, celebrate all you want. But at this moment in time, you've won a football game.
Yeah.
That's all you've done. Put us in a good position. So yeah, I think they should have been focused on Norwich or not Norwich, whoever we were playing after Wednesday. But it should have been focusing on Brentford and then Coventry, Luton, and then what?
Coventry would have been Saturday. Yeah.
Coventry, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You got all them right other than Norwich. Well
Thank
done,
you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, God, excuse me. I think Warney will have done what I said. Well, what I think, because he's a good. He clearly is. Sorry.
Go on, Mick. Save Ben.
Save him, right.
He's dying.
Yeah, I'm
He'll be fine.
No, I'm here. Oh God, I know. I think Warney is good. Warney is looks like a very experienced manager for how young he is in some of the ways that he handles things. The way he handles press says everything you need to know about it. So I've got no doubt the team will have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, it might well give Freddie a bit of a boost. Scoring that goal psychologically, I think we've talked about it long and hard, and probably no need to go over it again. But I think we've talked that maybe psychologically Freddie is not there at the Championship level, and hopefully that'll give him a boost and show that show him that he's capable. And give him that little bit of confidence.
From a footballing point of view, and again, a footballing psychology point of view, the break has done more damage to Freddie than anybody else.
Yeah.
Freddie needed to play again quickly after that game to maintain that momentum, that buzz. I worry that lost. It's not the right word, but we all know it's like it feels like 2 weeks ago since we last played and we're fans. So with all the players I've had to go through in terms of the COVID tests and everything else, and then plus training, it's much easier to sort of forget that in the immediate future, which should be a shame. I know I'm just sort of ask for some predictions, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Some predictions for the lineups, but 1 win in the last 6 games, Ben. That's not a very good run. Can you see us making it 2 wins out of 7 games on Tuesday?
Yes, and I'm going to say yes and no, but that's too big. I can. I mean, last time they were good for 10 minutes, and then
were they good though? We were absolutely garbage that night. Absolute garbage. That was the worst performance of the season.
Yeah, we were on that bad run, weren't it? But they were just a team that's high up in the Championship. They weren't good. They just scored. That was, so I don't see why not. We've beat a lot of teams up there in the past, so I don't see why we can't do it this time. I said they've got some good players, but so did Middlesbrough and whoever else we beat. So
listen, they're not running away with top of league, are they?
So other than Barnsley, I think the second form team in the division are behind Barnsley, I think.
That's got to stop, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That run of form will have to end somewhere. So hopefully it ends on Tuesday night. Hopefully we can turn it over. It would be nice.
Yeah, they're on 69 points, level on points with Swansea. With almost identical goals scored and goals conceded. They don't concede many. They've only conceded 25 goals, which means they have the joint best defensive record in the division. Their away record is mid-table. They've won 6, drawn 5, lost 5 away from home. And our home record's pretty poor. Our home record is down as the second worst in the division. We've only won 4 games. The only team that's got a worse home record than us is Birmingham. Which again is a consequence of having fans in it. Mick, if we have 11,000 fans, 12,000 fans in there every week, I think we're winning more games than that.
Yeah, we are definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm sure we are, but that's the same for everybody in it. So, we probably wouldn't have won as many away games. Possibly not. But that's not going to change to end of the season. So.
No,
we just move on now, don't we? And listen, we've got a chance on Tuesday. definitely. We've got a good chance of sneaking something out of the game, even a win. I won't put any money on it by any stretch of imagination. You know what I mean? But we have got a chance because of the lead up, because we've had that rest, or some of them have had that rest.
Some of them, yeah. All depends who's available, doesn't it? Which is going to make my next question very difficult. We're all on the Fan Hub app, and we'll put our predictions up through that in the next few days. If you haven't already, download that so you can give us your prediction in terms of the lineup. Ben, you are going to go first on the impossible task of predicting the lineup. First of all,
I'm going to go unchanged.
God, that were ages ago. I can't remember who played.
I don't, to be honest. I just said that. Johansson, Sunday, Icky, Wood, Robbo.
Icky didn't play last time.
Robbo.
Oh, but we got basically he was suspended, wasn't he?
And Robertson is injured.
Oh, sorry. And I saw
Woody should be back.
Yeah, we'll put Woody in then. Did I say Woody? Icky, Woody, and McDonald. Harding left back. Wiles, Barlasser, and what's his name? Wing. Crooks and Smith. It's from his team, in my opinion. I think you just chop and change that team depending on who's available. But that's your base team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. We were 4-4-2 last time, Mick, or 4-1. Whatever, 4-1-4-1 or 4-4-1, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. We changed that last time. The success, I thought we played pretty well going forward, although there were questions defensively against Wednesday, but that's because we were playing Angus McDonald and Wes Harding, and as much as they did all right, Wes Harding's not a centre-back, so I think that's probably why.
McDonald's pushing being called a centre-back, to be honest, at times.
Hey, come on!
He had a cracking game against Wednesday.
Yeah, he did.
You're very harsh, then.
The defensive issues against Piggies stem from the midfield rather than the defence.
Yeah.
The defence managed to clear them up reasonably well all the way through the game. I thought both Harding and McDonald had an absolute storming game as a partnership there, a makeshift partnership.
It was probably McDonald's best game for the club so far.
I think so, yeah. I think so, definitely. And Wes Harding, like we said after that game, it's just a revelation. What a buy. What an absolute steal we've got there. So, but I'm with Ben on the team. I think that's the team that we can, if we can select it, we do select it. If we can't, it needs to be a variation on that, dependent on who's fit. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we? It's just a lottery, isn't it? It's literally is that bingo machine.
Yeah, I have no idea what team's going to line up. But if possible, I would go with that back to the 3-5-2. I can't remember if we were playing that. I think we just started playing, haven't we, against Watford last time round, and I don't think we quite found his feet in that formation. No. But it did cause some problems that second half, making that game against Watford. Although it was an improvement on garbage, it was still an improvement, and it caused Watford problems that second half.
It did. I remember afterwards people saying, "Oh, Watford took their foot off the gas and everything else." Well, maybe they did, but they didn't put it back on again when they were in trouble. When they were under cosh, did they?
That's a sign of to me as well. Like I said, sorry to interrupt you there, Nick, but I said they were just a championship side doing well, like a high championship side. They weren't like. They scored, that's it. People always like to say, and I said it when we were 3-0 up against Wednesday, people always like to say they took foot off at gas. Yeah, it's easy to say that if you're playing bad, but when you don't put it back on when it becomes in trouble, that's when you know they didn't take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The foot slipped off at gas and didn't put back on, do you know what I mean? So yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there, Nick.
No, you're right.
No, a good point, Ben. I agree with that, definitely. We don't know how strong their metal is, and that's going to be a question. If we can put them under pressure, then let's find out. The games that they've won, they are only by the odd goal: 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, 3-2. The goal against, I don't know if you've seen the goal they scored against Cardiff at the weekend. They scored a 90-something minute winner, and it's gone straight through keeper's hands. Keepers literally dove out of the way for Cardiff, so they were pretty lucky to pick up a win. But at the same time, what they'll be saying is, and this is what we say, that's what teams that go up do.
Yeah.
They score last-minute goals. And that's what we said against Wednesday. Teams that stay up score those last-minute goals.
Yeah.
And
you beat the teams around you as well, which is what they've done with Cardiff.
Well, exactly.
But, the Cardiff are playoff chasing side and beat the ones around you, which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to wrap up in a minute. I think Ben wants to quickly mention, not Rotherham United related, but Ben, you want to have a quick mention on what's happening down the road at Sheffield United, very briefly, if you can. Former Miller, Chris Wilder, left Sheffield United. And there's parallels to our club in terms of what they have done and what could end up happening at some point in the future, our club, isn't there?
Yeah, I just wanted to make an example of it because obviously I know he's left, and I want everyone to acknowledge the score of the Sheffield game today, 5-0. Right, a lot of them players will leave in the summer. A lot of them players, not the ones that have just signed. Basham will leave. All the ones that have been there with him will leave. They'll go down to League One and rot in there for another 10 years. I'm sorry if you're a Sheffield fan, but that's what I think will happen. And this is why I get so annoyed when people say, get rid of Warney. Look what he's done. He won us a game when we couldn't win games. When in that season, we didn't win a game. I won a game all season. He couldn't win. We won 1-0.
We won one, didn't we?
One against QPR, and look what he's done ever since, man. Look at our club, right? I don't think we did mention it on the last one about Mick getting a birthday message, right? How many of managers is he doing that?
No,
I don't see any.
No,
I don't see. I was speaking to Mick earlier about what the community used to be like in the club. A lot of fans know who used to play. I can't think of anyone off my top of my head, but Brian Chappell, Breckin, whatever. People.
Brian Chappell didn't play for us, but one.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Breckin
invites old players and stuff like this, and people know him as a genuine bloke. Look at the culture. We've got a club, you're going to throw it away. Because I know Breckin probably wants, he will, because he's Rotherham lad through and through, but you know what I mean? If Paul Warren goes, Rotherham goes with it, in my opinion. We're just a football club. We're just a football club if Warren goes. Nothing more, nothing less. Just a football club who plays football.
Yes. I know what you're saying. But things come to an end.
If it comes to an end, when they both want to go or things move on, that's fine. But like I said, it's like flying a plane, right? And then pilot jumping out. What's going to happen? It's just going to go like this. It's just going to go flying, crashing down. So
I agree with Sheffield United. I mean, what I will say is their situation is slightly different in fact that they've got these new owners who apparently had money but now don't have money, who don't know how to run a football club, have never run a football club before, whereas we have a bit of history in terms of Tony Stewart has run a football club and Paul Douglas has been there for donkey's years. Our situation is ever so slightly different, but I agree. If Warney went before his time, and where we think what his time is, then I think it could cause problems and a big knock-on effect. Mick, maybe an assessment then?
How did they used to have money and now haven't got money? I
don't know. It's dodgy. This
is what I mean by
or whatever.
Properly dodgy. This is
what I mean by This is what I mean by we've got what we've got at our club. What we've got at our club, right? I don't think anyone else in the country has what we have. Not that I could think Accrington maybe, but I'm not too familiar with their owners. I don't really know anyone else with this culture. And look what happens when you throw it away. And it can be manager, chairman, whatever. Once you start to throw that culture away, look what happens. Sheffield is a perfect example. Look at last year, look at now. It is a perfect example, honestly. Once you start to change things when they're not broken.
Yeah. Hull are a good example of that. Sunderland are a good example of that. Ipswich are the perfect example. You've got Mick McCarthy, who's in charge of Ipswich. And, all right, it might not be pretty. And all right, you're not going to win. You're probably not going to win league unless you give me a little bit of money. But it'll keep you steady, and it'll keep the ship going. And then what happen as soon as they got Mick McCarthy? You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's greed. It's greed.
To an extent, yeah, but also people get bored. Look at
It's
Stoke.
isn't it? It's just Icarus trying to fly too close to the sun. It's been these stories go back years. Like, it's not new. It's just greed.
Yeah, it's also bored, man. We're going to go on a bit here, but look at Stoke. They finished 9th or 10th for 4 seasons in a row, whatever it went, Premier League.
I mean,
But that was their ceiling. They were going nowhere else. They're not going to make it. So I get it to an extent from that point of view.
I do get it, but it's human nature, man. It even goes back to Adam and Eve, like biting the apple or whatever she did. Eve did because she wanted an apple. What? she wanted more, and it goes back. So he made her pregnant. Do you know what I mean? It goes back.
What?
No, he did actually. I said, get an apple, so pregnant. I swear. I swear down.
No.
Something like that. It's something like that. One of them were too greedy, but it's
Stop
human
talking,
nature.
Ben.
It's human nature.
You were right with Icarus. You've got that. I don't think Adam and Eve is the right one.
I swear down Adam and Eve is one. I swear down that.
I mean, I'll educate you after we finish recording about the Adam and Eve story, but that doesn't over the Apple House.
Right, whatever. I thought that's what went down.
No.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
No, that's Mick no.
Yeah, Mickle.
Oh wow. Okay. A final
on
score.
that bombshell that Eve got pregnant by eating an apple. We should leave it there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Quickly, score predictions, mate. Very quickly.
2-1 Millers.
Ben.
1-1.
I'm with 2-1 Watford. I think it'll be a big struggle. So, thank you all for watching, listening. Please subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, whatever, wherever you are listening to the podcast. Please give us a rating as well. Lastly, we are doing the Auto Windscreen Shield special next month. Within the next week or so, we're going to start talking to some players for their memories. If you want to get involved, please let us know. Our direct messages should be open. DMs are open on Twitter. So if you want to send something through on there or get in touch, I know we had a couple of people on YouTube comments. Give us their details. We'll be in touch again in the next week or two to get some recordings from you, so we can make that as good. Mid-April time that'll be out. Whenever the anniversary is, I think 16th of April. So yeah, anything else you two want to mention that I have forgot?
No, thank you.
We're doing a post-match pick on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, it's a 7 o'clock start, isn't it? Is it a 7 o'clock kickoff? Yeah,
Yes.
post-match.
Cool.
It'll probably just be myself and Matt.
Ben will be in bed.
No, I think I have other commitments. No, I don't. No, but I won't be there anyway. So I don't know.
He don't have other commitments. He just don't want to speak to anybody.
Yeah.
I thought I did have other commitments, but I don't.
Either way, it was irrelevant whether he had commitments, weren't it?
Probably.
Cool. So yeah, we'll be, I don't know, 9:15, something like that, after the game. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever it'll be, we'll go live and hopefully talk about a win. But the most important thing is, hopefully, we'll be talking about a game of football Rotherham might have played in. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We know we know this season how these things can go. So hopefully that does go ahead, and hopefully we'll speak to you then. If not, we'll speak to you on Thursday or Friday morning, as we look back at Tuesday night and then look ahead to Bristol City on Saturday before the international break. So thank you very much, Mick. It's been a pleasure today.
You're very welcome.
And thank you very much, Ben, for your insightful stories and information. And we'll see you all very soon, guys. Cheers.
Pringle looking towards Odegaard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do